Production.
Who in the hell wanna work for nothing?
And we wonder why we have such a low self-esteem. And why our kids are dying because they have no direction, they have no true heritage. But once we find out that, okay, we find out our cultures in the Bible, we find out the reason why we went to slavery, and why everything was taken to us, and why they indoctrinated us with the wrong education, then we start to say, okay, this means that we gotta return to our culture. That's when these killings stop happening on black on black crime, because we're gonna see each other as the same people. Right now, it's an identity crisis.
It is.
That's the problem. We're lost.
Scratching ain't the solution, but it make us feel better. But if we hearken to the scriptures, it would make us clever. There are prophecies written in Deuteronomy for our rebellion.
Shalom, my name is Officer Joel from Israelites in Christ. Today, we're at Uniondale High School, here to listen to the speaking engagement of Dr. Stephen Perry to discuss the academic issues within our community and also gain some insight in how to establish our own schools at Israelites in Christ. So as you can see, there's a problem within our community, and the problem lies with the education. The school-to-prison pipeline that's leading the majority of our people in the prison institutions and some of our kids put to death because, well, they're not educated the true ways. And that true education is from the one true God, which is in the Bible, which pertains all the details of our history, where we came from, as well as where we're going, and to break the psychological chains that lies in our people's minds. Shalom. Most High bless.
Yes. I do not see this as sickness.
You don't see the sickness, you will never go to the doctor. That's a problem. See, after slavery, our power was taken away from us. Like, you might look at me, I have a beard. You might categorize me as a Muslim, whatever. You might see it's the United Christ. Our strength and our power lies in our God. And the Bible talks about who we are as a people. Because right now we're suffering an identity crisis. That's why we don't know who we are. It's because we don't know who we are, we don't know where we're going. Neither do we care. So like what Israelites in Christ, what we do is we show our people that our heritage is actually located in slavery in the Bible. Police brutalities in the Bible. How we got to this side of the world with slave ships is in the Bible. And once we figure out the reason and the problems, why we are in the conditions that we're in, that's all extent from who we are as a people. Like, what's your nationality?
I would say some pieces of my ethnic background, but my nation, I don't have a nation. I just want to subscribe to the United
That's the
States
problem.
as a nation.
No, not United States. Only like, what people do you descend from?
Caribbean.
Caribbean. What state is it? Okay. How did your ancestors get here?
Well, my direct ancestors immigrated on their own, but we all got here.
Yeah, slave ships. Yeah, see, that's the problem.
How does it break God's laws to get this punishment?
I want to remember when we came out on Sinai, Moses gave us blessings and curses.
Of course, is a high school principal, and this event is being sponsored by the high school and the High School Male Engagement Initiative. Mr. Dean Saunders put this event together for us this morning, so let's give him a round of applause for a very good job.
Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze.
Why do they need to be saved? Saved from what?
Change.
The acronym for saving our son is SOS. For those who don't know, SOS is the International Morse Code distress signal, especially used by ships and aircrafts. Simply put, SOS is a call for help, and our young men are calling out for help. Our sons have been calling out for help, but who's listening? Who's answering the call? Many of our sons are experiencing blended families and single-parent households. Even when both parents live in the home, our sons still feel devalued and ignored. Parents who work long hours and substitute things for time. I repeat, parents who work long hours and substitute things for time. Domestic violence at home and at school. Deficit of positive male role models. Disconnect from school resulting in poor attendance and increased suspensions. Peer pressure and social media influences. Police brutality and mass incarceration, violence and drugs in the community, identity crisis, and unemployment.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Where's your coat, man? You tough guy. Good morning. Good morning.
Every morning at 7:30, you can find Steve Perry here.
How's everything?
He's the principal of Capital Preparatory Magnet School in Hartford, Connecticut.
How many more of our young people do we have to commit to the streets before we recognize that enough is enough? You know, we often have the conversation about at-risk youth. I submit to you that the real issue is the at-risk grown people. So we have to find more solutions. And in so doing, we have to understand the solution will come from a bunch of different places. Every single teacher, especially in the high schools large, this can have as many as 125 children under their care in a day. The carnage that comes from one ineffective educator can have implications far greater than anything we've ever seen, yet we talk about due process. We want to negotiate with a group of people who have no interest in our community. We want to negotiate with them about what needs to happen. See, y'all want to save our sons. What you want me to do is come in and say, man, pull your pants up, stay in school, do the right thing, eat your vegetables. That's what people typically want me to do when they ask me to come in and say, yeah, fine, I'll get to the kids. I promise you, I said I was going to, I will. But what good is talking to the children when the grown people are not acting like grown people?
On behalf of Israelite in Christ as representative, also my brother right here, we have set up a Lost History Club in Nassau Community College as well as other colleges. And what we do is we teach our true history according to the Bible, that the extent of our issues and problems extend from our identity crisis. And what we're now trying to do is establish a school system, just like you have established, that's successful in teaching our kids their identity. They are the Jews according to the Bible, the biblical Israelites. Which is going to empower them to move forward and stop the black on black crime. To go to school to get an education, to better the nation. What I'm asking you, sir, is how do we as people, as me, as the next generation, set up a school system that's going to empower our kids, that's going to be successful?
Thank you for your question, and thank you for your commitment to our community. We have to have an honest conversation about school choice. As a middle class, one of the things that we do is we use school choice as a method of determining where we're going to live, and in many cases what we're going to do with our resources. And there has come a time in America where the conversation on charter schools and magnet schools and vouchers are all very real. And in every single community that has access to charters, vouchers, or magnet schools, there are waiting lists. And that's because those schools in large part speak to a need that the community has. And that is to have a diverse academic experience. Many people appreciate the traditional school system, but there are even more who are seeing their children in a different academic experience. One of the reasons why we started the school that we started in Hartford, and now why we started the one in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and the one we're going to be starting in Harlem, is because we recognized that our community wanted an academic experience that was different than the traditional schools. And we were able to do that because in our state at that time, and now in New York, there was legislation that made it possible for guys like me to start a school. Much of what we've done in our school, I wasn't able to do in any of the traditional schools. Much of what we did that has made us successful, in fact, was frowned upon, and we were literally told not to do it. We have a longer school year in our school model. So our school year is 201 days versus 180. Our school day is longer. The way in which we hire teachers is different. There are all different expectations. So what has to happen is we have to turn our ideas into policy. This is where you go to the local board of education and you rally them, and you go to the state capitol and you rally it. And you explain to them that large schools are cool for those people who want a large school, But if you can identify a population of young people and families who want access to the quality education that you're prepared to provide with a different spin than what they're getting somewhere else, as the movie once said, if you build it, they will come. And so our school is a traditional English model prep school, founded in large part upon the ideas of what you'd see in the West Indies. And so we have a head boy, a head girl, and all those other parts of an academic experience. When we decided to open our school, which is a school that is a Hartford Public School, but it's a magnet school, the 2 new schools I'm opening, I've left that job. And I'll tell you why in a second. The school that I started, I left. The new schools, and that one as well, the school system lurched and hiccuped and ultimately vomited because it couldn't have a school that was so different and performing so high among a bunch of schools that were performing so low. So instead of them changing the school to mirror, the school system to mirror the successful schools, it thought it should take that school and take it down some. The point that I'm making is that all we did was look at what the community wanted. And so our community wanted a more disciplined academic experience. They didn't want kids fighting in the halls. They didn't want kids to have to be patted down. They wanted order in the building. And that's what they got. To the tune of 2,700 children applied to that school this year for 50 available seats. For 50 available seats. And that means what we were told was when we started the school that the community wouldn't send their children to a school where the children had to wear blazers and ties during the summer. But they did. The kids wouldn't go to a school that was a longer school year, but it's the most sought after school in the entire state of Connecticut. Why? Not because I'm so popular. It's because the model was aligned with the community's ethos, what mattered to the community. And so those schools that do not connect to the community will not have the community's interest. So if you have the community behind you, then you go to legislators who you put in place and you explain to them, you need to start changing legislation to ensure that these schools are funded, because this is what the public wants. The public wants this. And then you fight until you get it. You fight until you get it. Afternoon.
I was here, we are from an organization called Israel United in Christ, and we're trying to empower people, really love people, and we want to see them succeed. But in the news recently, maybe last week or a month, I'm too sure, in Atlanta, you had it was an African-American school, but they had to take certain tests, and we know today certain of these exams and these state exams are geared toward Caucasian American students. So what they did was, the kids didn't do so well, so they altered the grades, and they got charged with racketeering. So black men, or as black people, if we're trying to set up our own schools, how are we supposed to combat the structural system they have in place in these exams? Because if you notice that in New York, our race group, African American and Latino, we do the worst. So how are we supposed to combat that?
I appreciate your question, brother. You may or may not like my answer, but that's what makes us brothers nonetheless.
Yes, sir.
So what those people in Atlanta have been convicted of doing is disgusting.
Absolutely.
And I think that they get what they deserve on that. Let me explain to you something. If a physician lied to your mother about her status, let's say cancer, or I'm just use a metaphor, I'm going to use an example, lied to a patient, someone you cared about having cancer, said they ain't got it, cancer-free, and they died. You feel some kind of way towards that person. What those individuals did for their own gain was lie to thousands of families. Said that these children could read, write, and do math on grade level when they know that it was their job to make sure they got done, and they didn't do it. And they collected a bonus for having done it. Just because somebody's black, I know you understand, but just ride with me for a second. Just because somebody's black doesn't mean that they were done wrong because they were black. Their black behinds did us wrong.
The chosen people can't see.
It's coming into Greenville High School. Dr. Perry, educational principal in the school. He has one of the best schools in the state. African American children. Asking some questions. Since IUIC, we're trying to create our own school. We want to see
I know what they think is wrong, but I was thinking, since the system teaches that Columbus discovered America, we know that's BS.
We know that's BS.
So as black, because that comes up on the test. Like who discovered America? They'll say Columbus, or they'll say who invented the light bulb. Thomas Edison. We all know that's wrong.
Yeah, because there was somebody else that was working with him that don't get that.
My point of asking that question is how are we supposed to deal with the lies in the system?
Well, we know there's a problem with what they call the curriculum of inclusion. They really, they really don't want us to know our history. We know our history. We know what they know.
Because I know, because in Atlanta, I know it was wrong, but they wasn't supposed to go to grades, but they had some type of sincerity for their people because they don't want to see people win. Because it's a negative stereotype about us, And for him to say that the system is, you can't blame the system. I don't necessarily.
I thank you, brothers, and I'm glad y'all got up there. Y'all made y'all point.
Cause they don't really care about the black life. That's why I live the way I do. I know it's wrong, but I tell myself I'm living right. So tell me what I'm supposed to do. Meditating his precepts day and night. But tell me who gon' save us then. The only man that can save us is Christ.
The only man that's bound to save us is Christ. My philosophy ain't mine, but it's the Father's whose might. It's in my hand, but understand, I preach not unto you idols, ye blind guys. Open your eyes and realize who you follow.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.